Morning, everyone. Welcome to our regular council meeting today for Tuesday, January 13th. Before I start, I haven't had the opportunity to see most of you. Happy New Year. And I hope we have a successful 2026. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:30. And I will confirm that quorum is here. And we also have the presence of the municipal clerk. Deputy Mayor Stover will not be attending due to personal reasons. But everybody else is here. Next is territorial land acknowledgement. We respectively acknowledge the township of Allen-McCullough is located on the Mississaugan and Ashaninpik territory, and it's a traditional territory of the Mississaugan Ashaninpik. The township of Allen-McCullough respectively acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. Item number 3 is approval of the agenda. There has been an addition put in for the portion of the close, but I'll read the recommended resolution. It is recommended the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Allen-McCullough enact as follows. That procedural bylaw provisions be waived to permit the addition of a closed session item under Municipal Act Section 239 2B regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And this is regarding appointments to the Council Advisory Committee. It is recommended the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Allen-McCullough enact as follows. That the agenda for the regular council meeting held on January 13th, 2026 be approved as amended. Can I get a mover in a second? Moved by Councillor Ainsworth, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? That's carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Does anybody have anything to declare? Seeing none, that'll be noted. Moving on to approval of the minutes, we have 3 minutes to approve. The first one is our municipal planning / regular council meeting of December 23rd, 2025. Our special council meeting regarding the public meeting held on December 16th, 2025. And a special council meeting for the budget on December 18th, 2025. It is recommended the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Allen-McCullough enact as follows. That the minutes of the following meetings be adopted. Special council meeting on December 16th, the special council meeting regarding the budget on December 18th, and the municipal planning regular council meeting December 18th be approved. Can I get a move in second? Moved by Councillor Ainsworth, seconder. Councillor Booth, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? The motion is carried. Next we have administrative reports, and this one is, our first one is regarding township surplus properties, CAO 2026-02. The Township Surplus Properties Report of January 13th, 2026. I think what we'll do, or what do you suggest we do? Can we take them individually and approve them where we're going, or we're going to divide it all up into bits and pieces? Yeah, what would you prefer? It's up to you. I prefer to do one at a time. Okay. And then we'll have a decision made, and then we can move forward. Okay. So the first property, I believe we're going to look at. Yeah.
To you, Mayor, the council, and to the gallery. So this was something that a couple of councillors had asked staff to do, was put together a list. The township owns a little over 90 properties in total. These properties were identified. Mayor Lobo and myself spent some time driving around the township, looking at some properties to identify, to bring to council for consideration. This is merely just the first step. There there is a lot of misinformation that is floating around. None of these properties have been researched. All of the information was obtained from our GIS system. We are aware that there are some GIS problems, something that our planning department is looking at. So there has been no work committed by staff to any one of these properties identified, except for bringing this list to council. It's council's decision whether or not they put staff to work to investigate the properties for further consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave? Mary Catherine?
I'm just listening to what our CAO has just said, and he did identify that a couple of councillors, because my question really is, when did council provide direction to bring this report forward, and what is the purpose of this report?
Go ahead.
So in July of 2025, an email was sent in correspondence to all of council, asking for council's input on all of the properties. The full list of the 90 some odd properties were provided to council, and council was asked for input. That direction came from myself to council. That's how we got to where we are today.
Thank you, Dave. Mary Catherine, follow up?
Yes, why did you choose to bring this to a council meeting, so to our decision-making table, rather than through a committee process?
I didn't catch the question.
This has been brought to us, Mayor Local, at the decision-making table. We're sitting as council today.
Yep.
This report isn't something that's ready for us to make decisions upon, so mine is, why didn't this come to committee of the whole or to the recreation committee? Because that's what our committees are for, is to have discussions rather than decisions.
That wouldn't be the responsibility of the recreation committee to discuss different properties. That's not their responsibility. Go ahead, Dave.
I have nothing further to add.
Thank you. Okay, I'll mention the first one on the list. County Road 29. There is a property there that the township owns. It is, I'm not exactly sure, roughly 15 to 18 acres. It is a former sand pit where gravel was used, and the property has not been used for anything except taking the materials out there it's been used as a dump to pick up wood and that type of stuff, to the best of my knowledge. Do you have a comment on that, CAO?
No, because all of these properties we have not investigated. This was just a list that was derived from the majority of the list that came forward. If further investigation and or to needs assessment is required, that we wait for council's direction to staff to investigate.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mary Catherine.
I find it very difficult to be asked to make a decision when we don't have information on the current use. So you provided more information than I have in the report in front of me. I believe this is also the property that was used by the Army this year. I believe it's the same property that we signed an agreement for farmland. I may be wrong on that. Anyway, without knowing the current use, and the current value of it, it's very hard to make any decision one way or another.
I don't think the purpose of the report was to make a final decision. The information that the staff has requested is, does council want to keep this property, or should we be considering it for leasing? That's simply my understanding what the question is. Go ahead, Dave.
For clarity, Mayor Noble, the question is, do you want staff to look at this further? Yes or no? Do you want us to consider it? We're not going to invest the time to look at all of the requirements of the property, the future uses of the property, tie up multiple department staff time, unless council has interest in us looking at the property. We would need to bring this report back to you in its entirety, identify everything in its totality for council to make a decision. This is just, do you want us to consider it, yes or no? That's all we're asking. It's the first step. We are required to follow municipal act when it comes to identifying surplus properties. We just need to know if you want us to spend staff time. This is not in the strat plan. This was an ask, so we brought it to the table. If you want us to invest time to research, we can. But if not, we won't. We're not gonna go and investigate 10 properties or 90 properties, invest all of that time if we don't have clear direction from council.
And I think that's why we have to separate them, because there are some that probably we don't want to sell in this list, and probably some that we should sell. And there's no sense in my opinion, there's no sense in going further until you get direction from council on which ones you want to go, and then the information that council needs to make or have before they make that decision.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, to council through you. The report identifies potential surplus properties for consideration. Nowhere do we identify the term sell. So I'd like to change the language at the meeting if possible, Mayor. This is for council to consider, for staff to research. That is all. This is not to sell. You need the information before you can make that decision. We're just not going to invest the hours of time to do that unless there's an appetite. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I'm gonna bring up the first one that's on the list, and that is County Road 29. Is there interest in having staff look further into the possibilities of this property? Go ahead, Councillor Booth.
Through you, your worship, visited this property yesterday, actually, two councillors who went and visited a lot of these properties, and this one I would recommend we take off the list. I mean, I know the Public Works Department uses it not only for brush and stuff like that, like Councillor O'Neill said, the Army's used it in the past, and we also use it, I believe, in the past when they dump the extra snow, when they're removing snow and stuff like that. So I don't feel comfortable that we're gonna give up something like this that we use all the time, so I'd like to have it removed from the list.
Thank you. Comment, Councillor Ainsworth.
Well, I think that's the perfect one, one of the ones where we can keep on the list and let staff investigate what is going on and come back with the proper information. So to me, I would be keeping it on the list.
Thank you. Other comments? Councillor O'Neill.
Every one of these, to pick up on what our CAO said, is a return on investment in a depressed, real estate market. I'm not sure what the value potential is. I appreciate you're saying your ask is whether or not we should investigate it. But even investigation would take time. Yeah, I'm not sure that I see a lot of potential moving forward for this to bring in more benefit to the township than what we are already getting from it.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comment? I have a comment. I looked at the property. It fronts on two different roads. One is County Road 29, and the other one is a small road. I can't even think of what the name of it is now, but it's where the Public Works people go in to that property all the time. I think the property should be split up into what the Public Works actually uses and needs, and that be kept, and there'd be opportunity to sell some lots on County Road 29. That will not have any effect on my understanding is that would not have any effect on the use of the property for our Public Works, and at the same time would give us an opportunity to sell a couple lots, and I don't know what they're worth. So that's where my thoughts come from. But it has to be further investigated by staff before we make that decision. So I'm in favor of having staff take a more in-depth look at this property. So does anybody want to take that as a motion, or do you want me to step out of the table? Go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
I would make that motion that this one stays on the list.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Any further discussions? Seeing none, all in favor of this one being investigated? The motion is defeated. Next property, Silver Maple. There's actually it's not on Silver Maple Road, it's on Tucker Road. There's a section there of property that's 66 by 571 feet. And I believe we do have a policy that probably cannot be used for anything but selling to the neighboring properties, unless somebody wants it. We do have a policy that states that that property can be sold to a neighboring property. It's of no value to the township. That's my thoughts on it, but I'll let everybody else make any comments. And my thought is that we should sell it. Go ahead, Councillor Booth.
Through your worship, I would agree. It's just a strip of property in between two neighbors, and if it's of no value to us and it just looks like it's scrub and just trees and stuff like that in there, I would be willing for the town to look more into this. If one of the neighbors wants to purchase it, then that's fine.
Go ahead, Councillor O'Neill.
I actually concur on this as well. I just have a question about the north, what that connects to at the north. I'm aware of the two property owners on either side, but what does that connect to at the north?
I'm sure that the staff will take a look at that once we give them direction to investigate further. But a good question. Mike, any comments?
No, it's a pretty small piece of land, and I agree that maybe could be something that the neighbor on each side of the property could probably pick up.
Thank you. Can I get a motion then? Councillor Booth.
I'll make that motion that this one, have staff look at this one.
I get a seconder for that. Seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Any further discussion? All in favor? That's carried. Number 3 is Sandy Bay Road. There was some questions to my understanding of whether we had the right property, whether it was 100 or 110. Did anybody get a chance to look at that?
As it's indicated on the GIS system, it is 100. As I indicated before, there could be errors with the GIS system, but that is what is showing up and it is listed as township owned property. We will look into it further if council wants us to, otherwise we will leave it.
Thank you. And go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
Oh, I just expressed my concerns about this piece of property here. And I think this is one that probably should be pulled from the list.
Thank you. Any other comments? Go, Councillor Booth.
Through your worship, I would agree this should be pulled. I've heard a lot of people in the last week call me or send me an email or whatever saying that this is well used and everything, and I don't think it's, we should be looking at selling this, so I believe it should be pulled too.
Councillor O'Neill.
I not only believe it should be pulled, I believe it should never have been put on the list.
Point of order, Mayor, point of order.
Thank
We're
you.
not here to insult staff.
I don't think there was, I think you're jumping a little bit. I don't know what Mary, Councillor O'Neill stated yet. There's nothing that would indicate that she's after staff. Let her finish. And if she goes after staff, then I will handle that. Thank you. Go ahead, Councillor O'Neill.
Thank you, Mayor Logan. I do believe there are 3 parks on this list. I don't think the parks should be put on a list unless it's coming from the community itself asking for it to be put on the list. This idea that we could dispose of this property was floated at our recreation committee by Councillor Ainsworth, and no one in the room would second the motion. So there wasn't support for this property to be disposed of at that point. But I don't believe that we should ever have any parkland coming for consideration of disposal without the community already have had input and say, we're not using this.
Okay, thank you. Staff are responsible for making recommendations when they see property is not being used. That's a surplus property. If they suggest we look at it, then we have to look at it. And that's all that's been done so far. So, and that's not the responsibility of the Parks and Recreation Committee to make decisions on that. All we're doing is looking at the surplus properties. I tend to agree with everybody that's stated what you've stated so far. I look at we have all our property along Rice Lake. The only ones that we own besides the two on Sandy Bay Road that we're discussing is 3 other small properties. They are all boat launches. So to me, they could be sold, but I tend to agree with you. We should not be selling, property on lakes or that we can't rebuild them. We can't rebuy or resell. So that's my thought on it. And it sounds to me like we're hearing that people don't want to sell that property. So can I get a mover and seconder to take this off the list? So
You don't need it, John.
yes.
You don't need it we don't need it because you only asking for brochures and properties to be considered. If there's nothing to consider, you don't need a brochure to not consider it.
Okay. Dave's right, we don't need a motion to take it off the table. It's not on the table yet, so we don't have to take it off. Next property is St. Andrews Drive. There is a 1.2 acre property sitting there. Excuse me. We can hear you.
I'll say it loud, what you just said.
No, you're not saying out loud. You can't disturb our meeting.
No, it's not true.
Okay, thank you. Silver Maple, pardon me, not Silver Maple, St. Andrews Drive. There is about a 1 acre property that was there, that was designed and sold. When that subdivision was built, it was given to the proper part as parkland. It sits there and does nothing. Comments, please. Councilor O'Neill.
Again, this is a parkland, and this assumption that's being made that I'm listening to, that these are unused properties, is not actually the case. And interestingly, when I was on the ad hoc committee with the previous council, and we were going through the recommendations within the Parks Master Plan, and we looked at this piece of property, one of the members of the committee said, well, wait a minute, is this being used or is it not being used? So he took his folding chair and set it up down there in the park and counted the number of people who walked by with their dogs, walked by to get exercise, walked by to reach another point within the village, because that significantly reduces the distance between that subdivision and the arena property, where we also have our wonderful new outdoor walking track. So this is an important piece of the infrastructure for safe walking within the hamlet of Grafton.
Could that walkway be modified? It runs right through the middle of the property. Could that walkway not be moved to the one side or the other and have opening, continue to have a path there and at the same time sell that property? Is my question. Mayor Catherine?
That would actually be a question for our planner on what would be the minimum lot size, whether that could even be considered. And again, that's the type of information I would have expected to be considered before it's brought to the council table for a decision.
We're not making a decision, Mary Catherine. You're missing them. We're discussing whether it should be considered or not.
Correct.
So that's what we're after. Thank you. Any other comments? Mary Catherine?
I fully understand, but it is a decision we're being asked to make today. We are being asked to make a decision on whether or not it would be wise to direct our staff that is a small staff and is already stretched, to consider items. And without more information, I don't know whether or not it's a wise use of our staff time.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
Through you, Mayor. I mean, we're talking about staff time and everything, and let's talk about the cost of the thing to make that a park and what would have to be put on it, and what it would take staff to engineer all that. This little piece of land is right in the middle of a bunch of other houses, and it's a perfect spot for someone to build. Give me garden again.
Thank you. Councillor Booth?
I'm not in favor. I agree with, Councillor O'Neill, if it's a piece of parkland or whatever, and I believe there's a bridge on that property too. Is there one? Isn't the pathway going, there's a bridge, or am I confusing it with something else? But, I'm not in favor of offering that up. I wouldn't like it to be looked at further.
Okay. You're making a motion?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I make a motion that we, keep this on the list.
Will anybody second that? Second by Councillor Booth. All in favor?
Yeah, I guess I want it to be voted on, so when it gets defeated, it's done.
All in favor? Motion is defeated. Number 5, our planning department has confirmed that the property on Shawano Drive is, not for sale, because we don't own it. Yes,
Just so that everybody is aware, so our GIS system still identifies that the township owns this property. So I will provide some direction to those that are in contact with the county for the GIS system to getting this correct.
thank you. Next we have Centerton Ballpark. Comments? Councillor O'Neill.
Again, this is park land, and I don't think this is the appropriate process to discuss whether or not disposing of it is something we want to investigate it. I know that there is a need and a desire within the community to have a discussion about how that can be better utilized, or what potential use there is for it, or if in the event that it was sold in the future, what that could benefit in another way, serving the residents of this area. So I think there is a desire and an appetite to discuss how that park land can be better utilized, but I am not in support of going and having a discussion at this point of disposing of the land.
So what are you suggesting? Forget it, leave it alone?
Leave it alone,
Thank you.
and in another forum, introduce a discussion of what to do in the future.
Anybody else have any comments on this property? Councillor Ainsworth.
So you, Mayor, so this property now has been blocked off. We have stopped looking after it because of cost. Right? We are trying to keep our hands out of the taxpayers' pockets for tax increases, so we're trying to find ways outside the box to find money to do some of the things that need to be done in this township. And this is a prime example, a piece of property that's never had anything done, except we cut the grass for how many years? So the other side of the room can keep on their charade, but the bottom line is, we need money to do things in this township. And these pieces of property that have been sitting around vacant for year after year after year after year, because we can't afford to do anything with it. Now all of a sudden, we want to keep them. So do we try to look outside the box to get things done, to get money? Or do we raise taxes? Or what do we do? We're damned if we do, and we're damned if we don't. So this piece of property needs to stay on there. There's not, you know, other than the 100 Sandy Bay Drive, I get it, right? But the rest of these pieces of property are just pieces of property that have been sitting around for year after year after year after year, doing nothing but costing us money. So be careful what we ask for.
Thank you, Mike. And not only are you losing, as you said, but if those properties were sold to somebody that's willing to pay the taxes, you're losing that money as well.
Absolutely. We got a municipality office that needs to be, it probably needs $1 million to fix it. Where's that gonna come from? Are we gonna take that out of the taxpayer's pocket? Or are we gonna look outside the box to figure out ways to find money to fix it? Or rebuild a new one? So everybody needs to ask themselves that question.
Thank you. We're jumping a little bit off topic, Mike.
Well,
I
it's
understand
the
what
whole
you're saying.
point. We're not thinking as a council here today.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
But anyways, that's what the residents expect us to do, Mike, so that's what we're gonna do. We're going by majority votes. So what is the recommendation on Senator Park? No recommendation? Move on. Next one, we have, identified, yes,
Would it be possible at this point for me to make a motion on the floor that, we work with the community to investigate potential uses for that property?
is that your motion?
That is my motion. If I'm allowed to make it at this point, that would be my motion.
Can I get a seconder? All in favor? The motion's defeated. Next property is Fox Run, 7.5 acres. Have you had a chance to look at that? What's your recommendation then?
We had a hard time trying to find it.
Yeah,
I believe that's near Killdeer and Fox Run or something.
Killdeer and, it was Fox.
Lake Shore Road.
Lake Shore, yes, thank you.
So, I have no comment on it. We couldn't really find it. I only found a piece of property that looked like it was scrubbed in the front and there was a culvert there or something, so I can't confirm whether or not that is. I know nothing about it, right? So it's not parkland, that's for sure, so I wouldn't have an issue with at least having staff look at it to come back to us. It's a large piece of property, but it looks like it's in the middle of nowhere, so.
And my only comment to that is there's lots of properties that are in the middle of nowhere that somebody owns. And we have no intention of making that public property or doing anything with it at all that I am aware of. So, anybody else have any comments? Go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
Through your mayor again, it's just a vacant piece of land that was probably given there when that little subdivision down there was done. And it needs to be utilized. So there could be more houses built down in there,
Or whatever.
or whatever, sure. And I know the.
Councillor O'Neill.
This piece of property was, out of all of them that I looked at, the one that looked like it needed more information coming to us, as a potential opportunity for surplus land.
Thank you. What is your motion? Do you have a motion?
I'll let someone else make the motion.
Anybody else want to make a motion on this one?
Well, I would make a motion, Mayor, that we keep this one on the list.
And we asked the staff to investigate.
Yeah.
Cool. Seconded by Councillor Booth. Further discussion? All in favor? That was carried. The next one is Clitheroe Road. There's a 1.2 acre piece of property. Amongst other properties where there's houses built on it.
The other one, PG.
Thank you. The next one should be McDonald Road. There's the property, actually, I don't believe it is on McDonald Road, but it's close to McDonald Road. It is, it has no access other than not a closed road, but a unmaintained road. It is in, I think is it 50 acres? Somewhere it's a fair bit of property. I don't believe it's farmed. It is, treed, I think, and it's right up against Northumberland Forest. Any comments? Did you see that one?
Kind of tough to go in there and look at it with the unmaintained road, so I don't have an issue with this. It's not parkland. It's probably only gonna be the farmer next to it or whatever's gonna purchase it, because it's tough to get to. You have to go get there through the unmaintained road, so I have no issue with staff looking at that to come back and report to us.
Councillor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, so this is a piece of property on the hydro line. And it's to the south side of the county forest. And, it doesn't go all the way through the hydro line, obviously, but it abuts to, private land on either side of it. You know, so, this is the piece that's been sitting here, the unassuming from Burns Road North, goes right up through that property, or to the side of that property, between that piece and the piece to the east of it. And, so my only concern was that we don't disrupt the unassuming road, but the piece of property would definitely be a spot that maybe a hunter would buy, or one of the other landowners on the other side of it might want.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor O'Neill.
I'm sitting here listening. It is a random piece of land for us to own as a municipality, but at the same time, we're in a depressed real estate market. This is going to take some time to figure out. There would be costs in the sale. There may well be costs in needing to rezone, since I don't know what this is zoned. I would imagine this is part of the Oak Ridges Moraine, so I'm not sure at all whether there is a return on investment on considering this surplus, but at the same time, it does seem a random piece of property for us to own.
Thank you, and I agree, and that's why we have staff here to answer some of those questions. And they will be able to do that if we decide that we should have this on the list. So we need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Mike, what's your motion?
I would motion that we keep this on the list.
And have staff investigate.
Yes.
Seconder? Seconded by Councillor Councillor Booth. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Next we have Clitheroe Road. 1.2 acres of wetland. Or could be wetland. Any thoughts and comments on this? Councillor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, so I'm not sure how long, but I'm gonna assume that we've probably owned this land for how many years, and probably that whole subdivision down Clitheroe Road was built.
Yeah, there's never been a subdivision there. It's just been lot after lot sold.
Well, okay, but that's probably how long it's been there sitting vacant, so it's probably something that, you know, let's staff investigate it and see what we can come up with.
Thank you. Other comments? Councillor Booth.
Your worship, I would agree. From what I saw yesterday, I mean, it's probably only of value to the two neighbors that are beside it. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Councillor O'Neill, there's a creek that runs through it too, and it pretty well divides it right in half, so I don't think anybody's buying that I don't even think it's big enough that you could put anything in there, so it's probably make it available to the two neighbors if they would like to purchase it.
Yeah, I guess my only comment would be to offer for sale first, and if nobody's interested in it, then, because they can do an awful lot of stuff with the stuff these days. I would hate to prevent an opportunity for a willing buyer to at least make an offer. So I would suggest that we have staff investigate. Councillor O'Neill.
All of these came to us without sort of any attached policies to give more framework to this. You know, I looked at that and you, I believe, correctly identified that this is wetland. So I'm not, like, what is our policy on all of these properties we own? What are the criteria we would use to decide whether or not we should be selling something? And what would the sale of any property do to our overall financial picture? Is this something short-term that in the long term actually weakens our buying power because we're actually worth less money and therefore have less borrowing power? There's just so many questions that I have, but this was, even on a miserable winter day, looked like a beautiful little piece of property, but not one that would be suitable for a house to be built on. So, and again, that's the kind of information I would like to see in front of me. How is it zoned right now? What are the potential uses for this land?
And I think that's what the goal is here, to have staff take a more, better look at it and not waste their time if there's no sense, but if it's a possibility of selling it, then, we should give them that opportunity. Go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
You, Mayor. So again, I mean, I don't know how many times staff has to say that we want to investigate, see what we can do with these pieces of property first, without insinuating. Maybe back a couple of months ago, we changed our bylaw 2019 to be able to put smaller houses on different lots and smaller septic tanks and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So this could be a perfect spot. If that lot wasn't big enough, if there was water in the way, you know, dealing with lower trends, many times people come in with engineers and changing the studies and assessments and stuff to make things like this happen. So there's avenue for that to happen, to put it, you know, to investigate for that to be another lot on Cliffdale Road.
Thank you. Further comments? Or do I have a motion on, do I have someone making a motion? Councillor Ainsworth, what's your motion?
I make a motion that we keep this one on the list.
Can I get a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Booth. Further discussion? All in favor? That's carried. The last one? We got one left? Yeah. No, and this is the Nuwatan, I guess it's the,
It's, listed on page 10, actually, Walk Drive, vacant residential land.
Nuwatan vacant residential land. Do you have the detail? How many acres is that?
I don't.
Yeah. Give us a picture of it.
And it's in the corner of Nuwatan and it's on Nuwatan Drive, on Nuwatan Drive.
This property is, a small piece of land, I believe, on Nuwatan Drive. There's, probably no use for the township for it. And it's, staff is asking whether they should keep it or they should investigate. Councillor Ainsworth,
For you, Mayor, yes, I would keep this on the list for staff to investigate.
thank you. You got a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? Councillor Booth?
We couldn't find this yesterday, so I'm looking at the map now, but, I would have no issue with staff at least looking into it to come back to information and to make sure this map is correct, because we couldn't find it.
I think it's just a small, well, it's not very big, it's right along the road. And, maybe the property owner doesn't even want it, but I don't see any purpose of keeping it, so we should let staff investigate. Counselor O'Neill.
Yeah, it was difficult to identify from these maps what these properties were yesterday. But when I put together what maybe possibly was what we were talking about, looking out the window and what it says on the report in front of me, which is this is a public thoroughfare, providing access to vehicular and pedestrian traffic. So, maybe the little piece that I saw, which looked like it was a walkway that people were using to get through to Newawton, again, I'm not sure how I'd make a decision on this, but it's an exceptionally small piece of property as well. So I'm not, again, I guess it would be neighboring properties might be interested in it, but why didn't they buy it in the first place then? Like, I don't know.
Counselor Ainsworth.
You, Mayor. So the piece of property is 258 frontage and 368 depth. It's not a small piece.
But isn't it a triangle, Mike?
Well, it looks like it, yes. But
I
it's
can
still
make
got
it-
some good areas.
Well, in my opinion, we should let the staff
Yeah,
investigate.
I would say it's definitely more than the legal, lot size that we have to have for a house. 0.4 of a hectare. We're
Yeah.
bigger than that,
No, I don't think so.
because that would be 100 by 200. Or 150.
You know, 200 by 200 and then a little bit feet. And that's in a square, and I think that's a triangle, but. So, this property here, do we want to have staff investigate further? Oh, we haven't moved in second, thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. That's the discussion on surplus property. I guess my one final question is, I think we have identified 9 or 10 properties, wasn't it total?
Yes, Cassidy, sorry.
How many properties did we look at here?
Are you asking how many you want staff to look at?
No, I'm asking how many we looked at of the 90. Yeah. Yeah, so we've looked at 10 of the 90, and I guess I do want to know that now. How many have we decided to further investigate? 5? So my question to council is, we've got 80 of the 90 some that we've, looked at. Do we want to give staff direction to in the next couple of months, take up the next 10? Councilor Ainsworth.
I would make that motion, Mayor, that we have staff continue looking at surplus land.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder for that? No seconder? I'll second that. Can I do that? Right, to move in favor. Been seconded, all in favor? Motion's carried, or not carried. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to bylaws, and the first bylaw is the 2026 interim tax levy. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen-McCullum enact as follows. The bylaw 2026-01 being a bylaw to provide for the levy and payment of taxes be given a first, second, and third reading and finally passed this 13th day of January 2026. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Next, next one is bylaw 2026-02, the borrowing bylaw. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen Calderman enact as follows, that bylaw 202602 being a bylaw to authorize the borrowing of money to meet current expenditures for the year 2026 be given a first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 13th day of January 2026. I get mover and seconder. Moved by Councillor Booth, Councillor Ainsworth, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? All in favor? That motion's carried. And the next bylaw is 2026-023. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen Calderman enact as follows, that bylaw 2026-03 being a bylaw to appoint a committee of adjustment in the township of Allen Calderman for the year 2026 be given a first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 13th day of January 2026. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Booth. Second by Councillor Ainsworth. Discussion?
It's not so much a discussion, but just so that the people sitting here, these are routine bylaws that are passed each year at the beginning of the
Order,
Yes, that's not your responsibility to do that.
Sorry, I was just making an attempt.
You've been corrected. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Carried. Announcements of notice of motion. We've got a motion by Councillor Ainsworth that council can look at their leisure. And our next one is closed session. We're going to move into a closed session. Thank you everyone for attending. And I'll read the resolution before we can actually do that. It's recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen Calderman enact as follows, that the regular council meeting of January 13th be moved into a closed session under Municipal Act section 239 2B. Wait. Okay, it is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Allen Calderman enact as follows. That the regular council meeting of January 13th, 2026 moved into a closed session under Municipal Act section 239 2B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. K, as a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by on behalf of the municipality of the local board. It's regarding appointments to council advisory committees and the Allen Civic Center long-term lease agreement. Can I move it to seconder? Moved by Councillor Ainsworth, seconded by Councillor Booth. All in favor? Motion's carried. Take a 5-minute break. And we'll be back.
Members who are currently still online in the Zoom webinar, if you could please kindly sign off. We are now entering into closed session. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay, we're back into open session after finishing our close, and I'd like to report from out of close. And it will be reported as the council met in closed session to discuss two reports, and staff will provide a direction and will proceed and are expected to proceed as discussed. Mover and inspector, the seconder. Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion's carried. Confirming bylaw 2026-04 is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Elma Cullivan act as follows. That bylaw 2026-04 being a bylaw to adopt the proceedings of the regular council meeting held on the 13th day of January 2026 and to authorize its execution be given a first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 13th day of January 2026. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. All in favor? Motion's carried. And to adjourn, oh no, I got a couple of things I wanted to mention before we adjourn. I've been recommended, it's been brought to my attention that there's absolutely nothing to bring up at the committee of adjustment or the planning committee. And staff have recommended we can't cancel the meeting because there's nothing going on. That's my first comment. And the second comment is we're going into budget tomorrow. We're starting at 9:30. Last year, we wasted a lot of time. In my opinion, we wasted a lot of time only for lunches and this, that, and the other type thing. And we're not going to do that tomorrow. So you need to bring a lunch. Plan on a half-an-hour meeting and that'll be it. And I'm asking council to do that. I'm passing on that on the staff as well. So,
John,
yes.
should we have someone to fly lunch?
Well, yeah,
Be nice.
yeah. Who's gonna buy it?
Pardon me?
Who's gonna buy it?
The township.
I don't know. Is it in the budget? Well, are we gonna be, as long as we're half an hour, I don't mind, but I think it's gonna be a lot longer than half an hour.
I'd feel more comfortable just bring your own lunch for a half an hour and then like the.
If you need, I can bring you lunch. Would like me to bring you lunch?
Wife brings nice cookies.
She'll
I'll bring chocolate.
Okay,
So you're saying the 27th, John, the planning council meeting is.
there's nothing there. Post for it, et cetera, for what's coming up, and there's nothing there to post.
So we can officially take it off our calendars, right?
That's what staff is recommending on this.
It's good for me, you could. January 27th.
Yes, Tracy doesn't have anything to do.
Okay, and final motion to adjourn is recommend the council of the corporation of the township of Allen, Coleman, and act as follows. That the regular council meeting held on January 13th, 2026 be adjourned at 11:13 a.m. Mover and seconder.
Aye.
Moved by Councillor O'Neill, second.
No, can I
Oh, I'm
ask one
sorry.
question before
I'd like to-
adjournment, if council is agreeable? I'm just thinking about our timelines on the budget and, two reports that I was hoping to hear sooner rather than later around asset management and the final report from MNP on our finance department and where we're going there. I feel like I would personally love to have those reports come forward if we could at the end of January before our final budget meeting.
Well, I don't know, we haven't got our last budget meeting finished. When that'll be, I mean, we've got a second one, and that could be, there before that. I know that, I talked with Dave this morning, and, my understanding is Susan is very close to being done, if she's not done already. You want to comment on that, or can you?
I'm gonna stay here this afternoon, so I'm gonna talk.
And the MNHP report,
Ready to go, just need to put it in that meeting.
so when, is that for the, committee of council? Or can they be brought up before that? Go ahead.
Through Mayor Lobo, in reference to Councillor O'Neill's comments earlier in the meeting about the committee of the whole structure, that would be the place where these reports would be coming to, would be the February committee of the whole, because council made the decision to cancel the January committee of the whole due to a rule when we brought forward the 2026 schedule. So the proper place, again, following back to the comments from Councillor O'Neill, would be the committee of the whole in February. So we would have those slated, providing they're available and ready at that time.
Okay. That the regular council meeting held on January 13th, 2026, be adjourned at 11:15 a.m. Mover and second, moved by Councillor Booth, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.